All right, welcome everyone to the midweek update on the market, what has happened so far, and what is coming for the rest of the week. There's a lot to talk about. I'm going to give you guys my long and short setup on SPY. I'm going to talk about the long and short setup on some of these earnings stocks, particularly the ones that have come out today, like Qualcomm, or Carvana, Etsy. We'll take a look at all of these and try to come up with a plan for what to trade and how to trade them, right? So if you guys want, like these types of informational videos every week, and you want more of these midweek updates, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe. It really helps out with the channel. Every single one of you that subscribe gets me closer to that 100K goal, and I would really appreciate it if we can get to 100K subscribers. And of course, everything is all of these are only possible thanks to you guys, so I really appreciate it if you guys can help me out. If you have any comments or any questions about anything, leave it down in the comments below and I'll try my best to answer them. And with that said, let's get straight into the update. So the first thing is to take a look at what has happened so far in the private group to get a general idea of how we are approaching the market so far. This week is a very difficult week, right? So if I actually take you guys first to the calendar here, if you take a look, which was Monday, April 29th, we started off the week with nothing. So there was no data or anything like that. But everybody knew that on Wednesday there was going to be FOMC. So Monday was a very slow day. And we ended up making some nice profit on Monday with whatever the opportunity that we got from the market at that time. I think we played some QQQ. We've had some small trades on, I believe, what was some other trades that we took? I think some of the other trades were, I'm pretty sure LLY was the day after, which was Tuesday. On Monday, I believe we played QQQ. So here's QQQ. We played AMD, right? AMD short, which was nice. Or AMD call, I believe. AMD call. I believe we also played, yeah, I think that's about it. I don't think we played anything else other than that. We played Caterpillar, and this was a loss. So we actually had a loss. I mean, it was a loss because I held overnight, but this one was actually in profit by the end of the day. The following day, which was Tuesday, we had LLY, made a lot of money on that. Had Snapchat, made a lot of money on that. So yeah, that was really, really good. And, LLY being the big winner, we had McDonald's, which went up 50%, which was another good winner. Highest peak was 75%, which is where I sold my runners. So that was a really good trade. Snapchat swing was really good. Tesla was a nice little scalp as well for 20%. So yeah, a lot of good trades on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, which was today, we had SMCI for a nice short, really, really good. We played SMCI twice and we got a good short out of it. Played pins calls because earnings was good, and pins paid 50%. Had the Snapchat swing that also paid, I believe, at the peak, Snapchat was a 100% winner, so that was really nice. And then we played FOMC Lotto. We had a 505 call for FOMC and a 496 puts. Puts went to 0. Calls went up to, I believe, at peak 350%. At peak, actually 400%. And yeah, it was a solid day. Obviously, if you guys want to catch every single one of these plays, make sure to check out the link in the description below for my private group. You can sign up there. I also give out morning notes every morning. Whatever stocks with earnings comes out, I try to post them as best as I can and give you guys the long and short setup. So these are the type of plays that we had. Now on Tuesday, so this was Monday, this is Tuesday. Tuesday on 8:30, we had GDP numbers month over month, and for the Canadian, and then employment cost index for the US. And then we had the consumer confidence numbers, which moved the market a little bit, but nothing too crazy. As everybody was still expecting FOMC, so nobody really wanted to trade in the market. So it was a very slow day on Tuesday. We still ended up being profitable. And of course, today being FOMC was a very big day, right? FOMC, Jerome Powell came in and he talked about how he's not going to really raise rates until, he sees inflation kind of cooling off. And I don't think he's going to not raise rates, cut rates. He's not going to cut rates at all. I don't think he's going to cut rates even if inflation is slowing down. And I say this is because I don't think the market is where it's at for him to cut rates. Because the fact of the matter is, every time in the history, in the past, we have gotten cut rates was during big crashes. And Jerome Powell or the Fed steps in every time there's a huge market crash cuts rates, market goes back up. So I don't think he's going to do that anytime soon until we get some sort of big drop. And I think this big drop will come in the next CPI report, where we see inflation going up a lot and market tumbling. And we'll understand that, okay, it seems as though we're going to see a lot of downside here as opposed to upside, because I don't think the market is where I don't think the market is ready to go up more than where we have hit 524.61 here at the peak. I think that is the peak for now. I don't think we're going to get there. At the worst case scenario is we dump really hard, and the best case scenario is we sideways grind from here. And it's most likely one of the two. It's either we sideways grind or we see a big drop. I highly doubt we're gonna go back up to 525. You never know, anything is possible, but I am leaning more towards bearish here. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for SPY to break under 500 tomorrow for a nice drop down to 495s, 498, 495, whatever we can get out of it. In the long side of it, I would like to see the long above 503.50 and go back to 505, 507. If the market decides to go up and go, forget about all of the bad things that are happening in the world and decides to keep going up, yeah, we'll play the call option, right? It's not like I'm going to be biased about being puts, right? And only puts. I'm not going to play calls because I only want to play puts. That's not something that I do. I take what the market gives me and I play that direction. So if the market is going up, I'll play calls. If the market is going down, I'll break it down and play puts. So for SPY, very simple. Short under 500 for a couple of points on the downside. Long above 503.50 for a couple of points on the upside. And we'll try to scalp it based on that. I will say, based on technicals from today, we got a nice head and shoulder here in the short term for the SPY. So very likely tomorrow we see market drop. Now, if we go back to what's coming tomorrow, May 2nd, we have 830 unemployment claims. So that's going to create a lot of volatility in pre-market. So that could either push the market up a lot more or dump it all back down. So the technicals aren't really going to be that reliable because of this specific news coming out tomorrow morning, pre-market at 8:30. So whatever happens after that is how I'm going to decide what levels I am actually going to be focusing on. And for that, I will be posting it in my morning notes. That's where I, discuss what levels to play for the day on SPY, as well as all the other stocks that are on the list. So watch out for this because, again, for those of you in the room, you know how this goes. For those of you who are not in the room, make sure you get in on the room because you're missing out on a lot of fun stuff here. So yeah, that's the idea. So let's kind of go over a couple of these stocks that have released earnings. And let's discuss how we can trade them and what levels to look out for. So to start it off with, I want to go over Qualcomm because Qualcomm released earnings today and the earnings was good. They beat on their top line. They beat on their estimates. They gave good guidance as well, which was the main thing I was looking for. Guidance was positive. All things considered, good earnings. So how am I going to play Qualcomm? Well, simple. I'm going to long it above pre-market highs of 173. Take it all the way up to 175 to 177. 177 because on the daily chart we have 177 area as a resistance. So there's a high chance of this going up and trying to hit that 177. So 173 long for a run to 175 to 177. I most likely will do a 175 call when I see the breakout happen. If on the short side this breaks under here, which is around 170, 169.50 to be exact, break 169.50, I'll play the downside move on it because then you'll see some profit taking and it will go ahead and fill this earnings gap by like $1 to $2. I'm not expecting a big drop back down to 163. 169.50 breaks. I think 167 is probably where we go to, and maybe even 168, and just look for that 1 to 2 points on the downside. I'm liking this more as a long than a short, so I'll be leaning more towards a long play here, more towards a call option than a put option. So that's Qualcomm. Great earnings, did very well. CVNA, this is probably my number one play for tomorrow. Highly likely that I will be playing this one based on these levels that I have drawn out. So to long it, I want to long it above 120, get it up to 125 to 130. If I want to short it, I want to short it under 110, bring it down to 105, 100. So 5 to 10 points on the downside, 5 to 10 points on the upside, And because the earnings is really good, and here's why I say it's really good, is because their net income was 49 million in positive versus estimates of a loss of 67 cents per share. They ended up being positive 23 cents per share. So really good earnings. That's the main thing that I was looking at, and I was like, okay, that's crazy. That's really good. They did a good job here. So that's why this is up 32%. Also remember, this is a stock that has been shorted down like crazy. So a lot of shorts in here that could be squeezed out tomorrow, and we could get a nice spike towards 130, maybe even more. If this thing goes crazy, could go 140, 150. I'm not assuming it. All I'm looking for is, if I play call options, I'll play some 125 calls, try to get that 125 target, get my majority of my position out at 125, and then leave some runners for 130 and above if I get it. So yeah, very simple, straightforward idea from CVNA. My number one play for tomorrow, because I think this is going to be really, really fun to trade. The other one is Etsy. This is going to be on my morning notes, and I'm going to most likely play this. Etsy came out with earnings, and it doesn't seem like earnings was that good. Etsy is warning that pressure on consumer discretionary, I can't pronounce that word, spending is here to stay. CEO Josh Silverman says on a call with analysts that consumers' wallets are being squeezed by higher costs for other items. Inflation is up, blah, blah, blah. So Etsy's going to have a trouble. It's going to have a slower growth, essentially, is what he's kind of saying. But as expected, it's not like anything is bad, right? Now, here's the thing. For me, very simple idea. Long above 61.70, go to 63, 64, fill some gap from this earnings drop. It's a big drop. On the downside, there's two ways to enter on the short. You can either short it under 59.70 right here for a drop to 57.70, or you can wait for 57.70 break, earnings low break, for a drop to 55. So that's basically the way I'm going to play this Etsy. So watch out for this. This is also another cool one. Now, I want to briefly mention LLY, because this is one that I'm going to be watching for the next 1 or 2 weeks, because this one is an earnings winner. It beat earnings, it gapped up, and it's in a phase where it's near its all-time high. So if this all-time high of 800 breaks, I'm going to push it to 810, 820, and try to get a nice win out of it. So watch out for that $800 break on this stock, because this is a earnings winner. And because it's an earnings winner, it's going to consolidate a bit here and then have a multi-day run to the upside. So I'm very excited for this one, because I like the way this stock moves. It's a very volatile stock, and it allows us to get a lot of profit off of it. We made money on this already during the day it released earnings, 70%, and we're going to look to play this again when it tries to make another move up. So LLY is one that I am very excited about, and I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this one. The other one I want to briefly mention is StarBucks, and their earnings was pretty bad. Like, this is a pretty aggressive drop on the stock, and rightfully so. We had Starbucks on the list as earnings miss, and the short here was 76.30 short to get it down to 74 to 75 in our morning notes. And this thing not only broke down, it went to 72.67 at the low. So very, very big downside move. What am I looking for the short side here? Very straightforward. I just want to see if it's going to extend itself under 72.67, right? I will only short this if I find a good entry on the break of 72.67, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to try to bring it down towards that $70 and potentially 68. Mainly $70 support. There's a lot of support at 70. So I'll bring it down to $70 and try to get that scalp. If it does want to bounce, I'll be looking for gap fill on this one. So what I will be looking for is break of 77 right here for gap fill into earnings. So that is another thing that I will be keeping a close eye on. So another one that just looks really cool, worth keeping an eye on. So don't, miss out on the move. SMCI, another one that had bad earnings, and well, it wasn't crazy bad, but like they missed on revenue. So technically it is bad. Basically short under 700. Short under 700, whether it breaks it tomorrow, Friday, or next week. Short under 700. Bring it down to 600. Or I would say first level would be break of a 700 for a short down to 670, and then break of 670, bring it down into the gap to 600. Okay, I think this stock has topped off. I think this stock is going to see 500 and under in the next couple of months, and I am going to be ready to catch this move because, again, this is a stock that has a lot of volatility. It's been inflated like crazy because of AI hype, and I think it's overdone and it's going to come down. So that's something that you want to keep an eye on for sure on the short side. So these are a couple of plays that you want to always keep an eye on. Of course, honorary mentions to NVDA, potentially a short. Maybe this one tops off and comes down. AMD, another one that could do the same thing. Obviously earnings wasn't that good either. So yeah, these are some of the many stocks that you want to keep an eye on and potentially play them when they set themselves up. And of course, don't forget Snapchat and Pinterest. These are ones that you want to always keep an eye on from here on out because they beat earnings and they could consolidate and continue to go higher. Especially Snapchat because it has a gap to fill all the way up to, well, it already filled a gap, but it has room to go all the way up to 18 and then fill another gap, a huge gap to 2022. So that's another one, always keep an eye on these. Pins beat earnings. I'm looking to see if this can come up to 41.80 and then break to go to 45. So that's another one definitely going to be keeping an eye on. So yeah, a lot of cool plays, a lot of potential for movement in the market. I just love all of these plays because they are easy to play. They're good setups, and I'm going to be doing the trades on these in the private group every single day. I call out these plays that set up really nice. We take A+ setups only. So if you guys want to catch these plays, make sure to check out the link in the description below. And with that said, guys, this is the end of the midweek update. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.